I had always held the belief that trust formed the very core of our marriage. Emily frequently stayed late at the office, and despite the occasional uneasy twist in my stomach, whenever she brought up those work dinners, I pushed the feeling away. Love has a way of blinding you, or perhaps it simply encourages recklessness. That particular evening, she slid into her striking red dress, planted a distracted kiss on my cheek, and mentioned an essential dinner meeting with her boss. Her voice carried a note that fell off to me, yet I chose to remain quiet. Time dragged on while I lingered by myself on the couch, eyes fixed on my phone. No messages arrived, no check-ins came through, only an unbroken quiet. As midnight arrived, a key realization struck me. I was no longer simply waiting for her return. I was waiting for true understanding. Across 4 full years, I had served as a reliable fallback, her steady presence, even as she increasingly regarded me as something secondary and unimportant. That night marked the moment everything shattered for me. Once the clock struck 1 a.m., I reached my conclusion. There were no shouts, no heated accusations. Quietly and deliberately, I started to pack. What began as one suitcase grew into 2, and soon my side of the closet stood bare. I moved methodically through our home, gathering important papers, cherished possessions, and anything of real significance with steady determination. With every belonging I placed into boxes, it felt as though heavy weights were lifting away from me. By the time 3 a.m. rolled around, every trace of my existence had vanished from the space. The pictures of us in frames, my collection of books, all my clothing, everything was removed. I signed out of our shared bank account, canceled the joint credit card, and redirected where my salary would deposit. If she chose to treat our relationship like a game, she could continue without leaning on my financial backing. I set the house keys neatly on the dining table alongside one brief message. You always claimed you didn't need me. Now you'll discover what existence feels like in my absence. When Emily eventually arrived home near 4 a.m., giggling softly to herself and carrying the scent of wine, she likely anticipated finding me still up, perhaps brooding in silence or visibly upset. What greeted her instead was a hollow version of the home we once shared. The shock of my complete disappearance struck deeper than any fight we had ever had. She called out for me, searched through each room, and eventually discovered the note. Her amusement disappeared in an instant. Messages began flooding my phone. Where are you? Stop overreacting. We have to discuss this. I offered no response. For the first time, the power rested with me, and she was left to confront the very silence she had so often imposed on me. Come morning, her phone was overflowing with regretful messages, swearing the dinner had been purely business-related. Yet I understood the truth, and regardless of whether her claim held any validity, I refused to keep existing as someone easily overlooked. Days stretched into weeks, and I made the permanent choice never to return. Mutual acquaintances shared that Emily was falling apart. In my absence, unpaid bills accumulated rapidly. The house transformed into something lifeless and empty, and the boss for whom she had dressed so carefully never stepped in to rescue her. She had risked our entire marriage, fully convinced I would forever remain as her safety net. On this occasion, I allowed her to face the consequences fully. This wasn't about petty vengeance. It represented fairness and balance. For years, she had casually accepted my devotion, my endurance, and my faithfulness without appreciation. That single night brought me the perspective I needed. She viewed one dinner as inconsequential. Perhaps it truly was harmless. The genuine disloyalty, however, lay not in whatever occurred that evening, but in how she consistently treated my affection as something replaceable and insignificant. Today I exist liberated from her influence, carefully constructing a future that belongs solely to me. Meanwhile, Emily remained surrounded by the wreckage of what was once our shared life, desperately pleading for another opportunity that I will never grant. She believed she could possess it all: the admiration from her boss, my unwavering commitment, and a spouse willing to tolerate absolutely anything. Ultimately, she forfeited everything.